Hello dears, you are watching this video on a laptop or computer. What is its shape? Cuboid. That's right. What is a cuboid? It's a solid shape. Similarly is a cylinder, cones, etc. These are all solid shapes. Let us know more about them through this chapter 15, Visualizing Solid Shapes. Now, take a look on the introduction to solid shapes. All two-dimensional figures have only length and breadth. Example, a paper has only length and breadth and hence it is classified as a plane of two-dimensional figure. Three-dimensional solid shapes have length, breadth and height. Example, the box in the figure is in the three-dimensional shape. Now, let's introduce some terms. First term is faces. The flat surface of three-dimensional shape is called a face. Second one is edges. Two faces of a solid shape meet to form an edge. The next one is vertices. The points where three edges meet are called vertices. From the given figure, we can easily understand the face, edges and vertices. Now, let us check faces, edges and vertices of some shapes. Consider a cylinder as given in the figure. A cylinder has three faces at the top, bottom and the cylindrical surface. It has two edges. A cylinder has no vertices since it has a cylindrical surface. Now, look at the second figure. It looks like an ice cream cone. It has only two faces and one edge. Unlike cylinder, it has a vertical at the top. Now, look at this figure. It is known as triangular based pyramid. It has four faces, six edges and four vertices. Next, we can see about nets of three-dimensional shapes. The net of a three-dimensional solid is a two-dimensional skeleton outline, which when folded results in the three-dimensional shape. That means we can make a three-dimensional box by folding a two-dimensional paper. Here is the illustration. Now, let us see how to draw solid shapes on a flat surface. Solid shapes can be drawn on a flat surface, which is known as the two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional solid. Sketches of solids are of two types, oblique and isometric. Oblique sketches are drawn on squared paper. The oblique sketch gives the visual representation of a solid shaped object but does not represent the actual dimensions. Isometric sketches are drawn on dotted or isometric sheets and have the exact measurements of solids. The two-dimensional surface on which we draw an image is usually flat. So, when we try drawing a solid shape on a paper or a board, the image appears a little distorted. However, this is just an optical illusion. When look at the picture of the cube, not all the lines forming the cube are of equal length. Also, we are unable to see all the faces of the cube. In spite of this illusion, we can make out that the image is of a cube. Such skeletons of cubes are called oblique sketches. They can be drawn using a squared paper. The first step is to draw the front face of the cube. Then, the opposite face of the cube are drawn. This face should also be of the same size as that of the first square. The number of squares is used as a reference for maintaining the size. Now, the corresponding corners of the squares are joined. And finally, the edges that cannot be seen are drawn with dotted lines. We can see that the front face and the opposite face of the cube are of same size. Also, the edges appear equal, though we do not draw them of the same length. All of us must have solved puzzles on isometric sheets at some point of time. An isometric sheet divides a screen into small equilateral triangles made of dots. Using this sheet, we can draw sketches with measurements that agree with that of a given solid. Let's try to draw the sketch of a cuboid of length 3 units, breadth 2 units and height 2 units. First, a rectangle of length 3 units and breadth 2 units is drawn. Then, 4 parallel line segments, each of length 2 units are drawn starting from the 4 corners of the rectangle. Finally, the matching corners with appropriate line segments are connected. The isometric sketch of the cuboid is formed. Observe that the measurements are of the exact size, which is not the case with oblique sketches. Now, let us move on to the second topic, viewing different sections of solids. Visualizing solid shapes is a very useful skill. We can see the hidden parts of a solid shape. For example, when a cuboid with a square face is cut vertically, then each face is a square. The face is a cross section of the cuboid. Three-dimensional objects of solids have length, breadth and height and look different from different points of view. Sections of solid shapes can be viewed using three ways: viewing the cross sections, using shadows and viewing at certain angles. A solid can be viewed from different angles. Viewing a solid from the front, side and top are the three most common ways of viewing it. Look at the figure. Cutting or slicing a solid will result in its cross section, which is also one way of viewing it. Observing the two-dimensional shadow of a three-dimensional solid is another method of viewing a solid. Shadows of solids are of different sizes depending on the position of the solid and the position of the source of the light. Now, thank you all. I think you understood this session. We will meet again in the next session. Bye.